Assalamualaikum and good morning. And now we're back again in IT Hour. Okay, as usual, with me in iRadio Conti is Encik Muhammad Diaudin bin Muhammad Sufian, a lecturer from Faculty of Information Technology and Multimedia Communication. Assalamualaikum, Encik
Waalaikumsalam
Diaudin.
warahmatullahi.
How are you doing today?
Fine, but a bit cold today. Since we are not eating, so a bit colder than usual.
Okay, today Cik Diaudin is going to share with us about how reliable is your software.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, when we talk about reliability, let's take a look on what is software reliability.
Okay, for start, usually we refer software reliability as a probability of failure-free software operation for a certain period of time in a specified environment. So having software reliability, usually we take into account the application of statistical techniques to data collected during the development of a system, and also on predicting, estimating, and also assessing the reliability of a software-based system. Sometimes other terms that usually associated with reliability, such as to test the system against time, to determine that this system have absence of catastrophic errors, can recover gracefully from errors, and make sure the software is robust. So if you talk about engineering type of system, usually some other views associated to software reliability, they refer it as a downtime is below than certain threshold limit, the accuracy of the system within a certain time period or in specified environment, and also the performance of the real time system when it's operated in the real time kind of environment. And that's, I would summarize how as a start for today's discussion on software reliability.
Okay, after this, we are going to take a look on the difference between software reliability and software reliability engineering. So stay around on iRadio UM. For those who just log on to our website, iRadio.om.edu.my, and now you are still tuning to IT Hour with our topic today, how reliable your software. Okay, just now you already shared with us about some definition of software reliability. Okay, what about software reliability engineering? Is it the same with software reliability or different?
Okay, for a layman, I would say it's more or less the same. But when we go seriously into software reliability engineering, as since software reliability deals with system dependability, as SRE or software reliability engineering deals with quantitative study of the operational behavior of the software system with respect to the user requirements related to reliability requirements. So it can have best practice to ensure that this particular software product can meet the user needs, can speed up the products to the market in a faster way, reduce costs, improve satisfaction, and also productivity. So when we talk about SRE, I use the term SRE for software reliability engineering. Usually there are four things or four categories. First is to establish the reliability goals, and second to develop the operational profile, third plan and execute tests, and finally use the test results to drive the decision. So when we talk about SRE, it more towards the application of the statistical technique, how we get the data, how we use the data, and how we infer from the data. So that's SRE, software reliability engineering.
The difference between software reliability and software reliability engineering. Okay, after this, maybe you can share with us on how software reliability engineering is conducted.
Okay.
So stay around on IT Hour, only on iRadio UM. You are are back again in IT Hour, and our topic today is how reliable is your software. Okay, when we talk about software reliability engineering, can you share with us how software reliability engineering is conducted?
Okay, in conducting software reliability engineering or SRE, usually we take into account the probability and the critical factors, especially when we want to derive what kind of test cases that we need to put for testing this particular software. So usually there are two kind of testing. First, structure testing, which is based on the software design, and also usage testing, reflects how the software will be used. So this kind of testing usually involve unit testing. Structure testing involve unit testing, regression, and system testing, usually performed by the development team, so that to verify that the software meet user requirements. But when we talk about usage testing in SRE, in software reliability engineering, usually we focus on reliability growth testing to determine that how reliable this software is going to be when it is deployed to the market. So what we usually monitor during this testing is we identify the failures, we give back these defects to the developer to fix, retest again, and usually during the implementation of software reliability engineering, we try to record every failure that we found, so that it won't happen in the market later. So we play around with data. We gather the data, understand what it portrays to the actual behavior, and then we try to make improvement to that software so that it will last longer when it's when it is given to the user.
That is how software reliability
it's going to be it's a lengthy process, but I try to summarize in a simpler manner. So that's whatever that I have explained just now is a brief of what usually being done when we conduct SRE.
Okay, when we talk about software reliability, how do we measure that software reliability?
There are many kind of approaches. Sometimes usually we try to adopt the product reliability curve into software reliability, where we have bathtub curve, we call it. Started with infant mortality, and then normal life, and way out, meaning it's going, the product is end. That's the if you look into graph view. So from this curve we can expect how many number of failures in early life cycle, and how many will be in the late life cycle. So that's from a bathtub curve. But other than that, since we're focusing on the software reliability, we can look into other attributes of the software itself, like what kind of architecture that we put, what kind of coding practices that we use, how complex is the algorithm, the programming, how much we apply the software reuse principle, and how do we put error handling, how do we how do we manage data integrity in that software. So that's another aspect how we can measure the software reliability. It's not just that from looking at the curve, looking at the data, but also the way we develop the software also take into account in measuring the reliability.
Okay guys, so we will take a small break, and after this we will continue with our topic today, how reliable is your software. So stay tuned to iRadio UM. Be informed, be inspired, be entertained. Only on iRadio UM, roaming across your mind. Okay, still with me in iRadio Conti is Encik Muhammad Diaudin and bin Muhammad Sufian, a lecturer from Faculty of Information Technology and Multimedia Communication. Okay, can we continue with our topic today?
Can.
How reliable is your
Yes.
software? Okay, next, what reliability goal are specified for the system?
Okay, talking about goals, we need to understand what does reliability goals mean. So when we talk about reliability goals, it's all about setting up the reliability requirement for that system to be achieved. For example, a goal in critical system is to make sure that no failure at all. So that's an example of reliability goals or requirement. So when we put reliability goals inside the part of requirement of a system, meaning we are describing the customer's expectation of the satisfactory performance of the software, so that it will be meaningful to the customer when it's being used. So for example, let's say one requirement, someone who purchases a fax machine wants assurance that 99 out of every 100 faxes received will print properly. And also there's also the requirement that the fact that machine must run for 25 hours without failure in order to demonstrate the specified degree of reliability. Both are the same thing, talking about the fax machine, but the first one, the former, tells about reliability requirements as perceived by the customer. So our intention is, although we want to maintain the reliability goals at the system aspect, we also need to make sure reliability goals of what to be achieved by the customer. So we need to translate whatever requirements, reliability requirement from technical perspective into user perspective. So we need to make sure that this will be taken into incorporation since the start of the development of that particular software. So customer come first.
Customer come first.
So because they will determine how reliable is your software. Back to same to our topic today.
Okay. Can you share with us about type of metric that been used for software reliability?
Okay. Talking about metrics, first I would share. It can be categorized into several areas. First, product metrics. Usually we measure in terms of software size like line of codes, kilo line of codes, function points, complexity, and also test coverage metrics. That's number one. Second is on project management metrics. So we want to, because we think that higher reliability of software can be achieved by using better process, have a better risk management, and also other processes. Third is on process metrics, where we have a estimation, monitoring, and also improvement of reliability using the process metric. And finally, we also use fault and failure metrics, where we determine whether the software is approaching failure-free execution when it's deployed. Example of the metrics can be like reliability metric itself, failure probability, failure density, hazard rate, and also popular metrics in software reliability, we call it MTTF, or mean time to failure. That's some of the example of the metrics being calculated, being used, being applied in the software industry.
Okay, after this, Cik Diaudin is going to share with us about why software reliability is important.
Yep.
So we'll be taking a short break, and right back after this. Stay around on iRadio UM.